Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends have to power through other friends, talking over them while they're trying to start the video. Each week, one of us selects an artist to bring to the panel for everyone to listen, discuss, and rank. I'm Jason. With me is Tim,
That's me.
Bill,
I'm bored.
and our special Patreon guest, Trey.
Hello.
You may remember him from The Replacements. Well, Trey picked the Deftones for us to go over, so we're going to be going over the Deftones. If you'd like to choose an artist for us, maybe come on the show, check out the Patreon link down below for more info. Also, starting in April, the first Monday of every month, we will be streaming our show live, so be sure to check that out. Check our socials for the links. Come hang out with us. Join in the conversation about Operation Ivy, Album Wars, Heaven and Hell versus Blizzard of Oz, and Record Store Day 2025. So, all that crap out the way. Brief history / relationship with the Deftones. I guess I'll say mine. I found them around 97 or 8. And my friend Julius got me into them. Quickly got off the train in White Pony. White Pony, like it was a quick one and done with the Deftones. First 2 albums, and I was done. So this is a new discography for me after White Pony.
Yeah, I'll follow up off of that. Did I might have heard this band in passing? Don't recall ever hearing any of the songs though. So I'm gonna label this as a brand new discography here, listening through it.
That's interesting. Not even like Change in the House of Flies.
Those did not ring bells.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
What about you,
Yeah,
Tim?
I'm. I probably. I can't really remember the first time I heard about them. The earliest I'm really thinking is in the Sepultura video for Roots Bloody Roots. He's wearing a Deftones shirt. Uh, and so that'd be 96. I know they were on a lot of bills at the time. I think they were opening for Ozzy at this point. Um, and then around 98, someone lent me Around the Fur to check out. So I did hear that album. And I, of course, have heard Change in the House of Flies. I even heard a couple singles after that I was
Yeah, I had
had
too.
heard. So
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, always familiar with the radio stuff, but they were never a band that grabbed me. And yeah, the one album I had checked out didn't change my mind. They've always just kind of been there. Never really a band I listened to much. So pretty very new discography for me, although I'm familiar with some of it.
So for me, I started probably around 98. I know it was with Around the Fur. As soon as I finished it, I went to the record store, got Adrenaline. When White Pony came out, they had like a little giveaway thing where it was they send you a kit and you do this like online party for the record release. This was in 2000. No one was live streaming anything, so I just had a box of balloons and stuff. The album, yeah, the album came out. I listened to it. This band, I'm not going to gush too much, but this band really solidified the kind of stuff I like. Um, Dark, menacing, sensual. It's all in this one band. I did stop listening around Saturday Night Wrist after it came out, and I'll get into why when we get to that album. The albums after that I listened to 2 or 3 times, but that was pretty much it until I did this. But yeah, this band is definitely a foundation of who I am. So
Well, gush away, because I think they're going to need it.
yeah, I got that sense too.
All right. Adrenaline. Who wants to start this one off?
I mean, I'll start it off. Um, so this was a pretty new album for me. There were a couple songs on here that I was familiar with. Um, and so right off the bat, um, other than the bonus track, we've got a Terry Date production. Terry Date's coming off of just having the last Pantera album debut at #1 on the Billboard charts. So he's like a producer in demand at the point.
Oh, they get
And
him
then
for a while too.
yeah, and they keep him for a while, but
Yeah.
they get him at the top of his game. And I mean, if you don't know who Terry Date is, you do. You should just look at his discography, and you will find albums on there that you know and love.
Yep.
Um, and then the person who does the bonus track, which is going to be called Fist, and I'll get there. That's produced by Ross Robinson, who just produced the last. Well, he's about to produce Roots Bloody Roots, and he's like an up and coming like metal producer at this point. He's done a few things that I'm blanking on. And then I don't know if you guys got that this they start off on Maverick Records. You guys know that label?
Yeah, it's Madonna's label.
That is Madonna's label. So we've got a lot of money behind us already. We're grabbing the top producers at the time. Um, Pretty sure Terry Dates worked with Soundgarden, Alice in
Mhm.
Chains. Um, oh, lights are flickering. Okay. So anyway,
Did
yeah,
Terry Date did Sir Mix-a-Lot's debut album.
my posse's on Broadway. Um, yeah, I mean Terry Tate's done a lot of really good stuff. Um, so I found it interesting that the name of the album is called Adrenalize, but first name, the
Adrenaline.
first song is called Bored. Yeah, I'm sorry, Adrenaline, but the first song is called Bored. And I get what they're coming from already. You know, it's mid '90s. We're all still very disaffected. We're all still trying to find the next Kurt Cobain. We're all still trying to figure out, you know, who we are as a decade or whatever. And and I don't know, like I think of Far Beyond Driven and how huge the instruments sound on that album. And then here you've got the same producer and the albums sound tiny. Like I don't know if they just recorded this in a garage or if they're just using cheap equipment. Um, but I don't like the guitar tone throughout this album. Like it's brittle and it sounds really processed. And for 95, that's not a sound I like. But having said that, like the rhythm section sounds really good. Like the bass and the drums are mixed really well throughout this whole album. Um, but yeah, you know, Bored it starts off with a riff, and then that riff kind of carries the whole song, and then they get soft, and then they get loud, and they get soft, and then they get loud, and then like the chorus, kind of a Nirvana feel to it. Um, Minus Blindfold, I liked. Again, the guitar really isn't grabbing me with anything, but I do hear a lot of the influences in this song. I hear a lot of Rage Against the Machine. I also hear a lot of like Gang of Four, Killing Joke. There's like a post-hardcore feel to that song I'm into.
A little bit of
One week I
Fugazi.
don't like it. Yeah,
Little bit of
Fugazi,
Fugazi's in here.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's very rooted in that late '80s hardcore,
Yeah.
so I'm here for that. Um, but then we get to Nosebleed, and at this point, like you know, the formula of the soft chorus, soft verse, heavy chorus, which was very popular in '95, not just in metal, but across all genres of music. That was, you know, that's
I wonder why.
probably,
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Yeah.
The
And
Pixies.
we mentioned this was on Madonna's label, right? Okay. Um, so Nosebleed, it sounds too 1995 for me. Um, but it's also kind of like where I'm really starting to hear them really refine what their sound is. Because the Deftones definitely have a sound, and it's very present on that song. Um, Lifter, I thought had the best riff on the album. It's still kind of binary in structure. A lot of the guitar riffs to me sound, you know, sound like I've just bought a guitar at a pawn shop and learned a couple chords. Wonder why. Um, Root's got a strong intro, but then it just kind of falls into their little formula. Um, there's not like really any movement in the riff, where even when it's soft during the verses or the intro, when you get to the heavy part, it's still basically the same melodic motif. I don't know. The songs were really starting to blend together for me on this. And again, the guitar tone is kind of bothering me. Um, and then after that, yeah, it kind of just falls into it. Um, I thought the album had some high points, but I didn't hear anything here that like blew me away. And then yeah, there's something about the production that just doesn't sit right with me, especially considering the people twiddling the knobs. So that's just my opinion.
I would love to
I
follow
could be
Tim. I would
wrong.
love to follow Tim next. I actually have this one. This is 2011 pressing, but Bored. The opening lines of this discography are: "Hear me spit on you, wither I remold into gold, and bury I from sun." Complete Deftones gibberish, but the delivery of the lines is so fucking good. Solid 3 out of 5. Just the way he delivers those lines. It's Gavin Rossdale bullshit, like levels of nonsense, but whatever. One hell of an opening track.
Whatever, Glycerine.
I wrote in my right, I love the guitar tone on this album.
Wow. Okay.
I disagree with Tim there. I like the way this record sounds. The repeated "I get bored" is the essence of the 90s. Chino fucking kills it on this one. Minus Blind, another great one. Guitar tone is so good. A little bit of fuzz. It's dirty yet clean at the same time. Love the keeping of the theme of Bored with "I get bored and you know I'm fucking flown." Great delivery. 1 week, quiet, loud, dynamic, in full force here. Again, carrying over something from the last song lyrically with "Bitch, you feel sore, we could be so flown." Nosebleed smacks you in the face. Chino's vocal range and delivery sell this album. How someone could put so much emotion into their delivery yet sound so bored at the same time is really impressive. Lifter, the lyrics, there's something. The best part of the song is "A part of me gets sick, a part of me gets sore." That little section. Root, top song contender, super cool vocal melodies. 7 words. Now, I haven't heard any Deftones albums past White Pony when writing these notes, but I'm willing to bet they never top 7 words. This song fucking kills. Birthmark, you kind of need a birthmark after 7 words. Take it down a notch too. But it still rips. The lyrics are really vulnerable but cool. It reminds me a lot of Nirvana. That outro, the drums on it. Engine number 9, fucking chaos. Pure, beautiful chaos. Top song contender. Fire Reel, probably my low point on the album, but I don't skip it. It's not a skipper. But the closing track, Fist, it's not a throwaway joke song. It fits the theme of the album. To me, that's the real closing track. Lyrically, it ties into the album with "Hello Memory Lover, You Are Mine, I Gave You Everything, I Need You, and Someday I'll Be With Her, I'll Be With You." Like, this album kind of tells a story. And this is the first time, and they're going to repeat it multiple times, but I think they do it really fucking well on this record. And out of all the new metal bands that were coming around the corner in 95, I think the Deftones stand out from them. They're a little bit more experimental post-hardcore than new metal. They just kind of
Yeah.
get lumped in with that Corn Biscuit crowd.
Well, and there's a couple vocal things that are definitely Corn-like in approach here. And I think that is down to both being influenced by Mike Patton and the real
Yeah,
thing.
because I think
And
Corn's
the
first
first
album is
bundle.
the same year, right? Isn't Corn self-titled
It was the
'95?
year before.
Yeah,
It was like 94, I think.
I thought it was just
93 even.
Was it? No, it wasn't '93.
It might have been 94 then. But they were on Beavis and Butthead. They go way back.
They
Corn
were
was
on Beavis and
94.
Butthead. Yeah, they were on Beavis and Butthead. Well, that's interesting. Um, I,
Corn was definitely a game changer between Corn and where Sepultura goes. And
and
Pantera having a number one album.
and Tool's Undertow. There's a little bit of Tool
Yeah,
Undertow on this
yeah,
record too, but
yeah,
that's okay because
absolutely.
that's good Tool. That's good Tool.
Yeah.
There's
But yeah,
loose.
there was definitely a scene coming up there that was post because all the thrash bands went radio friendly, starting with the Black album. And then, and then Nirvana happens. And then by the end of that, metal is just confused, just confused.
Yeah, so was Punk though. Punk was pretty confused too.
Yeah. Everything was very confused at the time. And I don't know. I mean, we go back to that Telecommunications Act of 96 all the time. And I'm going to mention that this is on Maverick Records, which I think this is the only thing that was actually successful on Maverick. Who else did Madonna have at that point?
Oh, I don't know.
And I know that she had passed on Rage Against the Machine.
he had Alanis Morissette, Bad
Okay.
Brain,
Okay. Okay.
Goldfinger.
Jagged Little Pills on Maverick.
No,
Um,
that was a major.
she had Alanis from '94 to 2000.
That would have been Jagged Little
That
Pill.
would have been Jagged
Yeah.
Little Pill, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
And
she put
Flea and Dave Navarro are on the big song.
Yeah.
yeah, because her early. No, I'm wrong. I
Chad
remember
too.
they re-released her pop albums on Maverick because I remember they changed the CD so it had the Maverick logo on it. My brother-in-law had them. That's the only reason I remember.
Okay. Okay.
But I still I
But this was their token heavy band
Yeah,
on the way.
this was their metal band.
Exactly.
to me this album holds up still. I'll still listen to Adrenaline once in a while. I'll throw that bitch on.
Yeah, well, we're not ranking it yet.
Nope. Who's next?
What?
Bill, Bill you
I'll
wanna
I'll
go?
I'll go quickly and rip my band-aid off here. So I was cleaning my bar here on Sunday. I'm like, I should, you know, listen to some Deftones, get some listening in. And I went to go start cleaning the oven. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna press play on Adrenaline. And about 30 seconds in, I had to kind of look and go, did I screw up? And I realized, no, this is the first song. This is bored. And I mean, it's interesting because the song title is different from how it kind of sounds. I mean, it gets repetitive, but like the tone and the volume is not like a bored tone behind it. I guess is how I would describe it.
In parts, on the loud parts.
Yeah. Um,
Well,
then
because it's
going,
just open note power chords, they're
yeah.
Ramonesing it, and yeah, they're just working the box.
So, anyways, I went from there and then into Minus Blind in 1 week, and then right as Nosebleed was about to start, it's like, okay, am I missing something here? Um, And I guess where I was struggling really on all of these on this album, I I was having a real issue hearing the vocals and like what he was actually singing. And for me, I mean, if you look at most of the bands and stuff I like it's pretty clear vocals usually a lot of the time. I will agree with Tim. The drums are very good on this album. Um,
Well, I don't know if they're very good.
well, I would say very good.
Okay.
It's the thing that stands out at least.
Yeah,
Okay.
the drums do stand out, and the bass.
Um, I will say this for me, my favorite song might have been Fist as a hidden track. Um, for real, as a closer, I it was rough for me on that one. Um, it wasn't what I expected on this album, but it wasn't a good, didn't hit the expectation for me. I mean, aside from that, I say most of these songs kind of just bled one right into the next. It didn't really feel that much different for me, song to song, in all honesty. Yeah, there was pace changes. Yeah, you'd have a key change or something like that, but there was nothing extravagant for me. Um, yeah, it's not the worst thing I've listened to this year. Not even close.
We listen to a lot of shit on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I bring some shit. Tim brings some shit from made up
Tim brings some
genres.
really shitty shit.
Jason brings a Screen Day. I mean, we get all the shit all brought together. Um, yeah, I wasn't worse for wear after listening to it, but I was really curious where they went from here, considering usually I carry a first album bias. And I was really worried if I was going to be carrying a first album bias with this band.
It's still very much a possibility, Bill.
Yes, it is. Don't remind me.
I mean, I no spoilers. We'll get there. Let's let Trey go.
Okay, well, so for me, this album is almost pure nostalgia. Um,
That's always a dangerous road to travel, my
Oh,
friend.
I'm not
yeah,
even gonna lie. 100% nostalgia on Adrenaline.
yeah. I mean, this album was predominantly inspired by the Sacramento skate scene at the time. And I
Sure.
have
Okay.
very fond memories of many years and many pounds ago, learning kick flips and ollies to this album. Listening to it now, my highlights are Board, Lifter, Fireall, and Fist. Fireall, which, I don't think any of you really look too fondly on. So there's a member who hasn't joined the band yet named Frank Delgado,
Yeah.
who Terry Date specifically told them to get a turntablist, which
Because,
this was
gee, I wonder why.
well, this was before Limp Bizkit and before everyone had a turntablist.
Well, right, but everybody was turning that direction.
And the thing,
Sublime put that turntable out there.
Yeah.
that's true, yes.
Anthrax and Public Enemy.
Now the thing about Delgado is he doesn't like sampling. He likes creating his own stuff.
Okay.
So while he does use turntables, it's more like he has a DJ friend that helps him create their own samples. And Fireall is one of the tracks that he helped out with on this album. And it to me it encapsulates why I like the band. It's dark, it's got this weird thing going on in the background. If you listen to it, there's almost a sound like a theremin in the background of the song. And it's just really weird and I love it. I don't know why. Now, as for the rest of the album, like I
Because
said, it's pure
theremins are
nostalgia.
badass.
What's that?
Oh, now hold
Just
up,
because
hold up,
theremins are badass.
hold up. Now you rejected Lauryn Hill because she didn't have a theremin. You better accept the Deftones for having it.
Well, no, well, it's the same thing. Theremins are badass.
And I,
Go
I
Don't
won't even say it's definitely a theremin. It sounds like a theremin.
go
It's
go
probably
go go check out our 1998 album of the decade series. That was a throwback joke, but
it's
It was a
probably a
fun episode.
keyboard. It's probably a keyboard.
Yeah. Well, and really, I mean, we get into it a lot around this time frame between 94 and 98, where sampling is just becoming so much more prevalent in these genres as a whole.
Yeah.
And
And
everybody's still approaching it very primitively because, we're in like 95. I think Pro Tools comes out in 97 is
yeah.
when that really changes everything. So,
But like I said, Frank is different because like today, I don't know if you guys remember the Maximum line of CDs where they
yeah.
had like maximum Deftones, and it
Yep.
was a British CD, and it was essentially like
The
listening to
interview
an
series,
article.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they keep talking on there about how Frank is scratching records, and I'm like, you don't hear any of that because that's not what he's doing. He's creating his own samples and playing. It's almost like background sound effects in the songs, as opposed to like DJ Lethal from Limp Bizkit, who's just flat out
scratching, yeah,
scratching records constantly.
yeah. You don't hear that on this record.
And point of order, DJ Lethal from House of Pain.
Yes. But I'm talking about his Limp Bizkit work.
Well, okay.
Now, and see that it's really strange to say, but to me, this is almost an instrumental album because
Wow.
Chino's lyrics make no sense throughout almost this entire album.
I disagree. I get
I,
this record.
If I think about it from an instrumental album standpoint, it's not half bad.
Now, I think Chino's when I think of Chino's vocals on this album, and well, we'll get to it. Um, to me, his vocal is another instrument. It's not a word delivery system as much as
Oh, that's
uh,
interesting.
he's doing stuff with the the rhythm section. He's doing stuff with it's not. I'm giving you this message through my words. I don't think he becomes a decent lyricist until White Pony. Um,
Oh,
and I
this
know,
this is a sloppy Around the Fur. It's this Around the Fur is the same album lyrically as this. This is just a
we'll,
sloppy, dirty version of it.
we'll get to that.
That's the next video, Jason.
I'm
Now,
just
now.
saying. I'm just saying. I
I'm
We'll
I,
have
just,
I
plenty of
like the
time to
words on
talk
this.
about the fur after this one.
I,
Uh,
my point is, I think this album, when I think about it, it's about the band getting comfortable with each other, as opposed to making, I don't know.
No, it does. I hear what you're saying because the album does sound like a bunch of people who just learned how to play their instruments a week ago.
And the weird thing is, they toured a lot of these songs for almost 8 years.
Yeah. Well, and I that takes me back to the production. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
just lack of funding and they didn't have enough time or bad
Well,
mix. I don't know. There's something off here though, especially for a Terry Date production.
I, I
I think it
think it,
sounds great. I don't know what version you heard, but
Well, I heard whatever's on the streaming services
yeah,
as of what, 2 days ago is when I was on this one.
I don't know. I like the production on this one. It
I think it's
sounds.
youth. I think it's just youth. When you look at the inspirations for each band member, I hear a little bit of the Mike Patton from Chino.
Yeah,
I hear a little bit of the Mitch Mitchell from Cunningham doing the
sure.
drums.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Stephen Carpenter and even it's just a rhythm, they're just kind of playing.
Well,
Uh,
sure, but even then, that's where I get like the Killing Joke and the Gang of Four, right? And Fugazi. Um, I mean, you come up with a couple other bands too. Like,
yeah.
I hear the Minor Threat. I also hear the Nirvana and the Rage Against the Machine and the Tool.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, that's the Sacramento skate
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
leading in. Because I know like 7 words on its surface is about police, yeah, police being dicks. I can't think of the word right now. Been drinking a little bit much.
I mean, that
But
works.
yeah. But I remember reading that Chino talked about it being about the hardcore kids and the gatekeeping that they had.
Sure.
So it was
Yeah.
just it was just as much as being pissed off at the police as it was being pissed off at this group that's like, no, fuck you guys, you're not part of this.
Yep.
So it's a lot of stuff going in here. But one thing I don't like Chino's writing on this, and I feel his vocal is more of a instrument as opposed to a vocal, I guess.
Which I understand what you're saying there, and that is definitely an approach.
Yeah. And like I said, I like the dark, menacing part of this band, and that's not on this album too much. So for me, this is almost,
No, this one has more of like that '90s apathy feel to it. Yeah, I get that.
The Post-it notes fault.
and like I said, I get the nostalgia buzz off of this
I mean, I
because
had my Vans shoes on. I had my fucking brown pants with the like kind of baggy, but they weren't hippie. I had my big pants on.
do you have the big like 84-inch Jinkos?
I never did Jinkos.
I did.
I always laughed at. We went to school with this girl named Shiley, and like she was short as shit, but she had these big ass jeans. They were bigger than her, and it would rain, and like half of her leg would be like soaked up to her knees, and I just laugh at her.
Yeah. I bought Jinkos the same day I got the Follow the Leader album by Korn. I bought 60-inch Jinkos, and
Oh man.
I carried. I had to. I remember when I was in high school, had to go to the auditorium for something, and the teacher realized, oh, I need the books. So I went back to the classroom and I carried 20 some books back in my back pockets of those jeans.
Oh, they had some big ass pockets.
Oh yeah.
I saw my friend Joe S. just like take a carton of marble. It was gone.
Oh yeah. If you had a wallet, you had to dig for that bitch for a week before you could pay for anything.
You're
That's why
starting to
you had it on
sound.
the 5-foot chain.
Yeah, I mean, I had my wallet chain. I did have my wallet chain. I
pull
didn't
it
have the
out.
Jinkos, but I had that wallet chain.
I had a wallet chain at one point too.
I had my fucking my CD-man, my Discman with Deftones Adrenaline. Like,
Yeah, say that again.
fuck. Sorry, the Walkman had the Vanilla Ice to the extreme in it.
Oh,
The Discman had the Deftones Adrenaline.
sure, okay.
All right, well,
And Madonna had them both,
I mean, she's a queen. She's a queen.
right? Right.
She's a ray of light.
She's a
Speaking of
plastic
hope.
person.
We're gonna wrap this up. Stick around, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Around the Fur is next. Yeah, it's just gonna get weirder from here. Be safe and make good decisions.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.